How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another Silica video. Today we're going to be doing aliens versus humans commander guide. I do apologize, guys. It's been a few days since I've released a video or been live or anything like that, really. I have been fighting with a few medical problems, so I'm on the mend. I'm feeling a little bit better, so I'm able now to create this video without losing my mind and going off on a tangent like I am doing right now. So anyway, if you're going to enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Still like 70% of you guys don't actually not even subscribe to the channel. So if you could subscribe to the channel and push me over that 2,000 mark, I very much appreciate it. At 2,000 subs, I am going to be thinking of doing a member-thon where we spend a whole day playing what you guys want to play. So it's going to be nuts. So if you guys want to support that, then jump on in when it does happen. I will be posting more in the Discord, and I will be posting more on YouTube as well about that around the time. Anyway, as I was saying, we're going into aliens versus humans. My God, it's starting already. The commander guide for Alien versus Humans. This is quite a in-depth guide. There's a lot of macro involved. I'm gonna try and not concentrate like I would do online. If you want to see a PvP game with me being commander for the alien, I will leave my last Silica live stream up. And I'll put it up above in the in this video, so you guys can actually go back and watch it. I basically did a 1v, well, no, it's not 1v2. It's a three-way match. So we had an alien versus human, and surprisingly, actually came out victorious in that one. Which is quite impressive, especially when we was getting to late game alien versus human. Basically, as the alien, you want to try and do the knockout punch against the human faction before they get into high-tech hover tanks. So the whole good thing about aliens is you need to be aggressive, and you also need to be macro heavy. So you're going to really rely on your players whilst you're commanding. If you are going to be doing a solo game, then or like a 1v1, then you're going to be at a strict disadvantage, because the job for the humans is to either harass you early game or just wait out and try and survive until the late game phase, where they can actually like expand and come out with hover tanks and siege tanks and such. So the job of the alien is literally to harass, expand as quickly as possible, getting all the biotics you can do. Try and choke the human commander by surrounding them on all fronts to try and stop their expansion for Bolterium. That is quite a high priority. However, it is a very like macro heavy priority, and you actually see me do that in the game I was talking about in my live stream, which I'll leave above. Basically, luckily enough, we was able to kill off Sol relatively quickly, but going up against Centauri, it went into the late game, but I managed to get myself wrapped around to stop any expansion, and sent units in all different directions to try and like kill off the rest of the harvesters, which it worked in the end. We kind of strangled the eco, and the humans couldn't produce any longer, so we managed to win that one. But yeah, I'll get into all of this as we get into the video. We're going to be going on to Rift Basin, and we are going to, why not just pick single player? There we go. We're going to get into it, and I'm going to show you what we need to do. So there's no real strict build order for aliens versus humans. The reason why I say that, I will leave a kind of like a build order up on the description. But it's dependent on how busy you are. Like, for example, if you've got players with you and you're wanting to use those players to scout, then you'll be more in depth in the commander. However, if you've got less players and you need to start taking control of, say, the hunter or a crab or an impaler to try and defend yourself, they're not, you're not going to be as well as like building nodes and stuff like that, right? So and you've also got to react to whatever the humans are doing. So if they come at you pretty quickly with some quads to try and go for your shrimp, then you're going to be inclined to defend those shrimp like as a highest priority. So it is all dependent on who you're going up against. And I mean, I'm going to be playing solo against the AI, so I will have an easier time. And I would strongly suggest you go up against the AI as much as possible before you go up against a human player if you're new to this. If you're quite experienced, I know I'm not like the best commander. I'm not like always commanding. I do prefer going FPS, especially when I stream. However, I have done the commander as well. So I'm not the most experienced, but if you need any help, jump to the Discord. There are very experienced commanders in the Discord, and you can ask them questions if you are stuck still. Anyway, right. So we're going to get into our game now. Unfortunately, I did have a crash literally as soon as after, so that's why I've cut the video a little bit. You might not even notice I've cut the video, but I did actually cut the video. I had a little bit of a crash, driver crash, unfortunately, but we are back and going. This is the problem of having an NVIDIA GPU and Elgato. I do seem to have a driver crash from time to time when I'm tabbing out mainly, and I did unfortunately tab out then just to check something quickly. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. We're going to jump back in and we're going to go commander for the alien. So we're going to start off here. Now we're in the top right corner. Rift Basin top right corner is not great, but it is better than, for example, top left, because we're right next to Biotics, which is directly above us. So what we want to do is we want to get the Impalers out to defend. We want to get the crabs out to start scouting. Now, if you're already a experienced Silica player, then you kind of know where Biotics already are. However, just you know, coming off the fact that you're a new player, and you're watching this video and you want to know exactly where you're going, you want to just scout around with your crab. Keep your hunter quite close. If it's a player that's playing as the hunter, then you kind of want a proficient hunter player that will stick around and defend the base against like quads and infantrymen and stuff, because in the grand aspect of things, if you're going AI versus the AI are very aggressive early game and then they burn themselves out. So quite an easy experience depending on where you spawn. If you spawn next to the human base, then you might actually have an issue. But if you're going up against a player commander for human, then you might be okay for a little while, depending on how aggressive they are. If you've gone up against a very experienced human commander, then you're going to be a bit stuck in that aspect. So what you want to do really is have your aliens branch out like I have done here. Because we're in the corner, I'm more tempted just to sit on this rock with these Impalers. The crabs are going to be going off to try and find the the human base, sorry. And the hunter is going to be in just close proximity because I don't have anyone playing with me. So, yeah. So we're going to keep the hunter nearby. To be honest, we're going to probably keep him at the northern entrance, I think. Right. So, now that we're doing that, we've already built our nodes up to the first biocache. So what we're going to do now is get the biocache down. We're going to start sending the shrimp up there. And we're going to build a lesser pit next to that biocache as well. Speaking of which, there is the enemy base. So they're to the north. So we're going to be most likely defending this area here. It could get a bit spicy because they're right next to us. Rift Basin is not the best map for a human v alien. You kind of want a bigger map if you're doing this. Human v human's fine on Rift Basin, but the job of the aliens is to either harass or build up enough so they can start sending scorpions and Goliaths. However, by doing that, you're risking the chance of the humans also sending higher tier units your way as well. For example, hover tanks. If they get hover tanks, then it's a fight for survival mainly. I'd like to say a cheeky fight for survival. Now we got a very nice spot we could put our tech, by the way. You want to kind of hide your tech as far away from, you know, prying eyes as possible. We're actually going to put our tech here when these shrimp get out of the way. And a very nice place, you know, spot to put them. It's high up on the cliff. It's out of the way. We can actually get our tech there. It should be okay. Unless a human decides to teleport up there, then, or in a later date, air units and such, then nowhere's safe. Anyway, so we have already encountered humans, which is not great, to be honest, and it's a quad as well. So we're going to get a hunter onto that quad. Like I said, he's our defense unit. Our Impalers are anti-infantry and anti-quad units, so they'll stay around the base in defense. So what you're going to want to do is you get your first nodes built to your first cache, you get your biocache down, and then you put your tech and your first spawning cyst down. As soon as your first cyst is done and ready, I might not actually push this quad just yet, because there's both of them there. Get out of the way, Hunter. As I was saying, yeah, so what you want to do is when you've got your first spawning cyst up, you want to spam shrimps. To be honest, it's a personal preference how many shrimp you have in a game. I like to go between 50 and 60 shrimp. However, I know a load of other different alien commanders that decide to go for the 100 plus. However, I do go for a little lower amount, but I do tend to micromanage my shrimp a lot more than just letting them just chill. We are going to, unfortunately, might even lose this hunter quite early on. I'm going to be real careful here because we've killed off one of the starter quads. The other quad is actually making its way over towards my base as well. So we are going to get these Impalers over into the defense. It's going to go up here and around. The Hunter, just under half HP. I'm not going to risk him. We need him to heal up and get ready. We're pretty safe here with where our first biocache is, so I'm not worried about the tech. And I'm not worried about the shrimp either, so we're okay in that aspect. The nest is going to take a lot of firepower to kill off anyway, and that quad seems to be stuck, so we might be able to kill him off in a moment. Okay, so once you've done this, and you've gone to your first cache, you've got your lesser pit up, you're spawning in shrimp, you then want to start going into your tech. So what we're also going to do is we're going to control 1 on our tech, so we got quick access to it, the hotkeys. If you haven't seen the hotkeys and such, I do strongly suggest you watch the Human v Human Commander Guide. All the hotkeys there are exactly the same for the aliens, so I'm not going to go over them again, just for the reason that, yeah, it's just repeating from a previous video. I strongly suggest you just go watch previous videos. It's quite early on, like at the start, where I go over all the hotkeys and what they do, and how easy it is to like apply those hotkeys into a scenario. So, now that we've got our second biocache at the ready, we can branch out to these 4 as well. But I am going to be just quickly disposing of this quad. It needs to go. The quad needs to die. So, I'm going to take control of the Hunter with his tire-sounding feet. And we're going to try and get some slaps in on this quad. Hopefully not lose the Hunter in the process. There we go. So the Hunter's done his job. He's killed him. However, we know exactly where the humans are going to be coming from. So we're going to get the Impalers in a position where they can just beam any infantry inbound. So, we found 4 other biocaches. We know where the enemy base is. Now, depending on where the enemy base is, you could change your tactics from here and build across the cliff to try and get down onto them, which is a very valid tactic. You can literally build across here with nodes, spawning cysts here, and you can rain down fire on their tech, their HQ, and just kill them off quite quickly. But just for this video, we're going to carry on with the build order given. We're not going to change tactics, and we are going to show you how to get to a later game style for the aliens. So, now that we're relatively safe, we're actually going to continue progressing. What we can do is we can hit 1, go beta 2, go back to nodes. So it's all about that. It's all about, you know, micromanaging, using your control keys to get to your tech, and just to continue pushing these nodes out towards the next biocache. Here comes our first infantryman. So yeah, I'm going to say this now. Aliens are very macro heavy. They are very macro heavy. I strongly suggest you practice a lot on the AI to start with. The good thing about Rift Basin and the Alien versus Human is the AI can prove quite challenging into the early game. And that's where you're mostly challenged anyway, to start with, is early game. You basically want to protect your shrimp. You want to make sure you get your buildings placed in a location where they're quite nice and safe to start with. So, you know, you've got income coming in, guaranteed eco, and you're wanting to start progressing the tree towards Scorpion and Goliath and whatnot. So what we're doing is we're currently spidering out. By spidering out, we're building our nodes and we're starting to branch them off to head elsewhere. That is what you want to do. You kind of want to set yourselves up for future. So you want to set yourselves up so your shrimp just instantly can go elsewhere. Instantly. So they don't have to... okay, so we lost our crabs at the front line there, but that's fine. So yeah. So your shrimp can instantly just go to the next biocache. And they don't have to worry about... you don't have to worry about expanding and building nodes and such. So you've already done it, basically, by that point. We're going Gamma 3. So the aliens are very, very, very quick to go through the tech tree in comparison to the humans. That could change in the future. I cannot tell you, but they do go through the tech tree relatively quickly in comparison to the humans. But then the humans are very, very, very strong late game, so it does match out in that aspect. In a way, it depends how how experienced you are as a commander for both human and alien. So we're continuing to branch. The Impalers are doing good defending against infantrymen. The AI will eventually send quads after me. And that's where things are going to get a little bit tricky. Because the quads Impalers can deal with, but they do get weakened. So, yes. But we are almost at Gamma 3. So Gamma 3 means we can build a greater cyst to start with. Now, what you want to do as the alien faction is you want to build your greater cyst quite close to the enemy base. Now, because they're right there, this is going to be our forward base right here. So we're going to actually build it here. We're going to build the first 2 greater cysts, literally on this hill. I suggest you build it like somewhere very inconspicuous and out of the way, in an online game, because you don't want them to know where you're building your forward base. Like I've done now, they're going to instantly know where the forward base is. But the AI won't react to that. You know, they won't know. They won't have a clue. Have I built a thing here? No. So I haven't built a bit of biocache here yet. So we're going to get one up now. We're going to get a hunter to dispatch these 2 scouts. And we have now secured ourselves another 3 biotics pools. We're going to secure our 4th one here, and then we're going to leave it for a bit. Because we've got some micromanaging to do when it comes to spawning more shrimp. We can also, at this point, go a Mega 4 if you just want to quickly max out the tree. But I would strongly suggest you wait for your greater spawning cyst to come up and you start producing the scorpion. Because as soon as you got the scorpion out, you could basically counter any vehicle sent your way. The infantrymen are quite easy to counter. Unless you go up against a chunk like this and your AI hunter, unfortunately, is just bouncing around. And unfortunately, he's going to die here. So I'm going to let him die. This is not what you want. So I'm going to let him die. It's not what you want. But now we have got our first cache up. We're getting scorpions out. So we've got a scorpion coming out of each one. We've got a horn crab moving up. We're going to continue pushing this way. The Impaler should be able to dispatch these infantrymen. That's what they're designed to do. Our shrimp are now moving in here. For this round, I don't think I'm going to produce the maximum amount of shrimp I did say originally. The reason why is because I'll probably end up killing the humans quite quickly here. We'll see. We're punching ourselves down. Just so we lost a node, unfortunately, but whatever. Come on, Impalers. Do the thing. Hurry up. Might take control of one just for ease, because they are taking a while climbing over everything. There we go. So we're now in full range, and we should be able to just dispatch these scouts quite quickly. There we go. I did also see we got some scouts pushing to the north. Our shrimp are now actually out in the open, so we're going to want to try and defend them. If you feel like you're going to be threatened, then just build a thorn spire next to the shrimp. It's enough to deal with any humans. Yeah, any infantrymen anyway. If you've got tanks, then it's a different story. But you wouldn't expect to see tanks at this point in the game already. So yeah. Okay, so we found another bio cache area. So what we're going to do, because it's very close as well, we're actually going to take this one as well. So we've got ourselves a nice amount of biotics to deal with. So yeah. And when you get to this point, you can relax for a few minutes. You can just chill. You can work on, production, defense, shrimp production, lesser cyst production, all that stuff. You can be happy, and you can just chill now. So what we've done is we've done this. We've got everything working. The shrimp should be happy from there on. We've got our first 2 scorpion, and now we can finally get Omega for the final production bits unlocked. We're actually going to build another cyst as well. How much money? We've got 4,000. We're going to build another one. And we are going to get a lesser cyst up in a moment as well, because for online play, human players, like players for the alien side, will spawn at the lesser cyst. So, because they spawn back in as crab. So just be wary. You want to have a lesser cyst next to your greater cysts, so they can quickly take control of any of the higher tech creatures. We're going to quickly get rid of these annoying riflemen. Okay. Wait, did I just launch him? No, he's dead. Right, okay. So, scorpions. We've got 2 of them out at the moment. We're getting some more money. We're going to continue getting more shrimp. Now that we maxed out the quantum cortex, we're going to rebind the shrimp production to 1 instead. You could produce shrimp from this one when it's up as well, but it's entirely up to you what you do. So what you're going to want to do as well is, if you find the alien player and you're afraid they're expanding too quick, they're getting their harvesters up, you kind of want to choke them. So you want to like start progressively building around their base. For example, now I'm just doing this. So I'm going to start building nodes to kind of like try and swallow them in. And this is to stop their ability to produce any more eco. If you can stop them getting eco, then you've basically won, right? Because not only are their units super expensive in the late game, you're going to want to just try and like strangle them if you go in late game. But this is still early game technically, so we are going to start producing other units now. There's our first heavy, by the way. That thing is nasty. So he is shooting over towards our cyst. See it taking damage? That's a lot of damage, but Impalers should be able to quickly dispatch any of these guys. Even the Scorpion can as well. So you just want to kill off any heavy that you see. The scouts you're not too worried about either. We're going to continue pushing forth as well. So it is hard with the alien. There's not so much of a build order. You're more reacting to what's going on around you rather than going for a specific build order. Not after like the first initial 5 minutes. After the first 5 minutes, it's all randomized basically. You know, you react to what's happening. Like the shrimp now are pushing to a biocache at the front line. Instead of like turning them away and saying, look, don't go here, we're just going to try and defend them. Because there's a lot of hassle to try and pull them away, because then you lose eco. But what you can do, I think that was a tank shot, it was. So now we've got our first hover tank. Now what you want to do, because hover tanks are literally anti-scorpion, you're going to want to try and get them over some cover. So over a cliff here is probably the best bet. So they're literally out of the way. And if they're a human player scorpion, I can just show you quickly what I mean. You can use that to your advantage and just fire over the top, get a few shots in, back yourself off. Few shots off, back yourself off. And if they get too close, then you can go for the weaker points. You can actually go into melee. Depends on how proficient the human player for the tank or the AI is. If it is AI, I would strongly suggest you stay away for a moment anyway. He is attacking my node, so it's I'm unfortunately going to lose that front node, but it's fine. It is. It doesn't matter. That's heavy fire coming in as well. So we're going to leave these two scorpions alone for now. Right, now that we can get a Thorn Spire up for defense, so we're just going to put some Thorn Spires next to the shrimp, and this is just going to be able to defend it. We've got first Goliath out as well, which is basically your anti-building unit. And we should have plenty of money coming in, so we're going to actually produce more Scorpions. What you can do also as well, if you're just going to be like building from a single area, is you want to start like control grouping each spawning cyst, so you've got quick access to them. So I've got each individual one now grouped on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I hit 1, it brings up that one. If I hit 2, it brings up a different one. Hit 3, it brings up this one. Hit 4, it brings up this one. So you're able to quickly build from those. However, I have unbound this cyst now as well, which is producing shrimp. So I'm just going to control 0 that one. So it's over on the opposite side of the keyboard, and I'm able to keep producing shrimp from that one. So looks like we've dispatched the tanks. And we've also dispatched any infantrymen coming in. So we're just going to wait. You could attack now if you really wanted to. If I did attack now, I'd probably end up killing the human AI. But just for the tutorial in general, or the guidance in general. For example, you're getting towards late game. So they're starting producing hover tanks. And coming into like, they shouldn't produce rail tanks. But you may see a rail tank or two. A siege tank is probably the last units you'll start to see. You're going to want to start, like, considering, depending on how far you've expanded, to build a secondary nest. So just for this video, we're going to build a secondary nest here. So we're going to get a secondary nest up, and we're also going to get a secondary quantum cortex as well. The reason why I'm going to get a secondary quantum cortex is because, as they've got tanks and rocket launchers and all that sort of thing as well, they can easily snipe out the nest and the quantum cortex quite easily. And you can also use this quantum cortex as kind of like bait. In a sense, if they haven't found your main base, I mean, all they have to do is follow the nodes to your main base, of course. But if they find this nest first, they might think this is your main base because you've built out from it, you know, by the looks of it, because of these nodes. So you can kind of fool the human into thinking, you know, they've killed your tech. Cool, we're going to push with all of our units. Oh, wait, hold on. We push with all of our units, but they're still producing scorpions. Like, what's going on? So you can actually use it as an advantage. But yeah. Pretty much. If that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully it does. Anyway. So. We are gonna start producing some hunters as well. Now, they're very underrated, by the way, hunters. Going into the late game, if you've got the human commander in a bit of a sticky situation, and they've got infantrymen and tanks like defending their base and such, you could literally use just a hunter swarm to overrun them. You just run them in. Just run them in. They literally just go absolutely maniac and just kill everything. Any infantryman gets one-shotted. Speaking of rocket launcher, hello! There's our first rocket launcher. See how much damage is dealt to my Scorpion. So rocket launchers are still a considerable threat against aliens. You might find them more of a considerable threat against human, but in this case, it's not the case. Kill the marksman with that Impaler before he dies. So there you go, we lost a Scorpion, but we have got 4 in the barrel. We're waiting and ready to go. We've also got a Goliath now starting to move out. We're going to quickly just finish off this rocket launcher. The problem with the AI, they don't tend to, you know, go after what you think is the highest priority. You heard Forger under attack. That means we have just taken damage on our shrimp. I think we got hit by a rocket, funny enough. Hold on, where's our shrimp? Oh no, we're good. We're good. I thought we lost all our shrimp there to a single rocket, which could actually happen. Hence why you need more shrimp production. Just keep spamming shrimps until you've got a nice juicy amount. If you want to know your exact number of shrimp that you have, take control of a unit quickly. Just take control of a unit. It'll tell you how many foragers you've got at the bottom right there. It says 36. So, hopefully, Dram will add that feature into the commander view as well, because it's always nice to see how much eco you've got on the go. And look how much eco we've got coming in, by the way. And this is what I mean by personal preference for your eco as aliens, because you could literally just, yeah, it goes up and it goes up and it goes up and it goes up, and yeah, you just want to spend it all because you don't want to lose your eco, you know, you don't want to lose your eco to silly mishaps of not being able to spend it all, and then someone snipes the biocache with all your eco on it, because your biocache is, your biotics is stored in these caches. If we go and have a look at this current cache that's being used now, you can currently see they are depositing the orbs on this cache, and they will actually move to another cache if this one becomes full. But it looks like our shrimp are now starting to branch off and go for other caches. This shrimp is actually stuck, so we're going to try and help him here. There you go. That should sort him out. Okay, so our Goliath is rolling in a real aspect game, like a real game versus humans. This probably won't happen unless they're very unexperienced human commander, or if you're just going up against your friend, you don't really play the game much. Then you'll probably find that it's GG's at this point, because what you could do is just literally send your Goliath here and here, sorry, here and here, and it would be like a one-punch blow. You'd remove the humans from the game. But just for this game in general, we're just going to slowly just take down their buildings as we go through. The Scorpions are also moving in. Their harvest there. What we could also start doing now is start noding. As I say, start noding around to try and strangle them in. At this point as well, against the human player, they won't be just here. They'd probably have branched out down here. So it'd be a totally different scenario than what we're playing right here, but it's because we're going up against the AI. You know, it does need work, and it is going to get work relatively soon as well. So there we go. We've taken down a refinery. Here comes the Scorpions. They can easily just destroy any of these units coming in. Looks like the Harvest is also taking shots. But yeah, it's still got a lot of health. But speaking of which, let's take control of this bad boy and just roly-poly this tank. Knock him around a little bit. Kill off the heavy as well. And boom. He's dead. Yeah, I do apologize, guys. There's not much of a build order like I've done in my human v human video. The human v human video is more of a actual build order guide because it remains the same every time. Like, there is no change to the tactics of what you're doing. With aliens, it's just a little bit different because it depends on where you spawn and how you build your caches out, and how the the humans react to you is totally different. But hopefully, guys, this will get you a bit of a better aspect on how to take control of the alien faction, because I think most people struggle with the fact that you have to build nodes, and nodes are your best friend at the moment. And the reason I say at the moment is because later on they will need defending, so it's not going to be easier to keep them out in the open, especially when you build like forward bases. You have to protect that string of nodes coming from the nest, or you build a nest next to your forward base, which would be the counter to that. So there are ways around that type of thing. But in like later game phases, for example, I've built, for example, this biocache. If this node got sniped here, maybe, no, this one here mainly. If this node got killed, this would cease to work. So you'd have to like defend like your current string as well. So there's a lot more coming in for the alien faction, but they'll also be a lot stronger as well. We're actually gonna lose that Goliath. That's fine. It is, you know, it's okay. Like I said, I'm not taking this game too seriously, because we are gonna win real quickly. We're just gonna finish them off slowly, because this is what you want to do, right? You want to have build orders going. Look, we're building like loads of Goliaths. By the looks of it, my stuff didn't actually my stuff didn't control group properly, so we're just gonna re-control group them. There we go. Right, so we've got a proper control group going now. I think they're grouped on the same thing. No, they're not. Just wasn't responding correctly. But you can see how much money I've got. I'm pretty okay for money now. I've just spent it all, and all these great assists are working as intended. So it is a GG's for the human. Their HQ is gone. So you snipe the tech and that's it. It's GG's. They've built that factory in a real weird place. Look how many units they've just got lying here. Like, what are you doing, AI? Oh dear, poor AI. Well, there goes the heavy factory. So that's their chance of building anything to counter me. But now that we've got the AI human on a back foot, they're not coming back from this. They're definitely not coming back from this. We're just going to quickly discuss over anything, basically, that we might have missed. So, we're just going to go over what notes I have put down, now that we've got to a point where the game is no longer threatening me, and you've kind of seen what I've done. So, you node to your first bio. If it's not right next to your nest, then biocache Lesser Cysts plus nodes to string up to it. So, basically, you string your nodes. You've done what I've done here. You've biocached, you've Lesser Cysts for your shrimp production, and then you want to start building your quantum cortex. So your quantum cortex can go anywhere. Well, look, the safest place possible would be high ground. So that's what we've done with that quantum cortex. And you want to keep your crabs out for scouting. You want to keep your hunter and your impalers at home for defense. More or less, you want to keep your hunter around if it's a player, just around, like, to stop any harassment and stuff like that. Your impalers can stay close to base and just chill, basically. They don't have to do much, so yeah. Okay, so straight away after that point, you want to start building nodes towards your second, third, and fourth biotics if you've already found those locations. But just slowly. You don't want to do it too quickly to the point where you've like neglected everything else. So you want to build those nodes out and start getting those caches down. You want to start going quantum 1, and then you want to start going quantum 2 straight away after that as well, whilst expanding and defending the nest and shrimps. So that's what you want to do in that aspect. Then you want to use the lessers to keep producing shrimps to a maximum. I mean, to be honest with me, a maximum of 100 to 120. Depends on personal preference how small the map is as well. For example, I haven't built that many, but I've got a hefty amount of units. How many have I got? We've got 47, so we're not even going towards my cap as a commander. So And then at that point, once you've done what you've done here, and like you've secured at least 2 or 3 biocaches, you then want to consider building a forward base. You want to First of all, you want to locate. Sorry, the voice lines are a bit distracting. Um, so you want to build a forward base towards the human base if you've already located them. So we located them in the top quadrant. I didn't want to build them like down here, for example. I just built them up here because it's nice and out of the way. There's a lot of cover between humans and where I built them, and it might not even get located unless they climb this cliff. So that's the reason why I built it up here. So building that up there is what's good about that. And then you want to start pressuring the humans using those player scorpions. Try and snipe out their tech if you can. Go for their tanks. Go for their harvesters. You want to just be very, very harassing against them. You want to try and go for the eco, and you'll try and go for their tech. At that point, if they're not prepared, you basically win. Like, as the alien player and commander, you would win at that point. This is what's happened now. I've basically won before they've got too powerful. I'm producing way more than they did, and I've also just annihilated them. So that's what that's done. And when I say about strangle holding, as you can see, I'm actually building nodes around. And what I could do is I could build a few great assists around this corner, start sending stuff that way to kill off the harvesters and such. So yeah. At this point, if you're still playing and the human faction is literally starting to produce tanks, you then want to consider, if you haven't already done so, producing a secondary nest. So this is what we've done. We produced a secondary nest and also built a secondary quantum cortex. Don't upgrade the cortex just yet. You want to do it when you've just got some spare money and you know you're not on the back foot or anything like that. So at that point, you kind of want to just judge the game by how everything's going so far. So at that point, you want to continue expanding. You want to start building nodes around to try and strangle the enemy team, building greater cysts, maybe a third nest if you decide to. You can also node into the enemy base, even though this will be fixed. You can node into the enemy base to act as a distraction, and you can start putting down lesser cysts, because that will annoy the enemy commander, because they'll be thinking you're going to start producing crabs or whatever from that, like lesser cysts, and start harassing their buildings. So it's kind of like a distraction mainly. So you could do that as well, because they don't cost much. Like roly-polying a harvester. But that's about it, really. There's not much more I can explain to you. Like I said, guys, I'm not very experienced alien commander. I'm more of a human commander myself personally. So if you do want any more like assistance, jump into the Discord. Or go into the official Silica Discord. Ask for the experienced commanders for the alien side of things. If you are stuck, I'm going to include Madda's video below. Madda gave me most of the guidance here for the alien faction. I did kind of learn off of him as well, like how to produce like from the aliens efficiently. So yeah, it's always good to learn off other players and other commanders. Don't do it on your own if you feel stressed or you don't know what you're doing. Then definitely seek guidance. Jump to the Discord. Jump to the official Silica Discord. Ask around. Everyone, most of the guys will be more helpful to you. In my Discord though, if you want to tag me, if you jump on in, I will get you in contact. For example, Madda. I think Madda will be, the best bet to help you. Probably one of the best alien commanders I've ever seen. Yeah. We're just going to finish off the human team now. We're going to kill off the rest of their buildings. Like I said, we have sent tons of units after them. There's no way in any scenario they now, prevail. We've got scorpions. We've got hunters. Like, the hunters are very good for, like, chasing down infantrymen. Chasing down, like, rogue tanks and stuff. If you've got a swarm of tanks going up against a hover tank, for example. Sorry, a lot of hunters, not rogue tanks. If you've got, like, one tank that's, like, outrunning, for example, your Goliath, your scorpions, because that's what they can do. Your hunter's probably your best bet. Send 3 or 4 hunters after that tank. There's no way that tank can take down all 3 or 4 of your hunters if they're all player controlled and they're taking it very strategically. They could literally jump that tank and kill it quite quickly. So just think of it in that aspect. The hunters are very underutilized and they're actually really good at just removing any threat that's going after your buildings. So yeah, without further ado, that is pretty much it from me on the alien faction. We're about to kill off the final build and the game's about to end as well. Like I said, guys, jump on in the Discord if you need any further assistance. Definitely watch back my Human v Human guide if you want to know about control groups and more in depth on what you need to do. And if you want any more assistance after that, jump on into the Discord. and join us on Silica Sundays. This Sunday, the 16th of July, we will be live from 6 p.m. UK time, not 7:30 this time. So we're actually going live earlier, and we're going to have a longer Silica Sundays this week. So jump on it, enjoy. It's open to everybody. Just don't commit friendly fire, please. Anyway, guys, I very much appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.